us what's unique about international teams.
That's a great question. It's actually one of the things I love to talk about is because I think that international teams is very unique compared to some other ministries that I know. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been at international teams for the last 2.5 years. And there's a couple of things that really excite me that again, I think are very unique. The first one is that we have a deep commitment to being multicultural. Mm-hmm. You know, we often tell people that we have 1,200 workers around the world serving in about 60 different countries. But what we sometimes forget to mention is that of those 1,200 people, they come from 50 nations of the world. And what's exciting about that is what the message there is that we are by intention multicultural. And it's way better than sending a group of American missionaries all by themselves around the world to go in and fix things. Mm-hmm. We feel like this model of being multicultural, we feel like it models to the world the message of Jesus, which is, you know, if you'll work together, if you'll be unified, if you'll do things together, it'll prove to the world that I am who I say I am. Yeah. And so it's the message of unity. So that's one of the things that excites me and I think is unique, is we are multicultural in the way that we do things. In a world where a lot of organizations are trying to figure out how to be multicultural, we've been doing multicultural teams for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. I think a second thing is that we are committed to sending long-term workers. Now, somebody listening to that might say, like, why in the world, like, what's unique about that? Doesn't everybody send long-term workers? And it's an interesting question, because we have, in our world, we've sort of shifted, many organizations, especially here in North America, have shifted from a long-term focus to much more of a short-term team focus. And we do short-term teams do well, mm-hmm. and we do a lot of them, and we're excited about short-term missions. But as far as I can tell in reading my Bible, there is a biblical mandate upon us where Jesus said, go into all the world and make disciples of all people of all nations. And so we are committed, and as long as I am here, we are committed mm-hmm. to sending long-term workers around the world. I just think that that's what Jesus wants us to do, and we believe that by living incarnationally, we feel like that's how people who are spiritually blind and who are oppressed, that's how they get to know the Jesus that we know, by people who will live among them, go deep and build a relationship. So that's the second thing I'd say, is we're committed to sending long-term workers, not just short-term. And maybe a third thing, and this is a big one for me, is I feel like international teams is a rare blend of the mission organization, but also the relief and development organization. Now, that's kind of an interesting thing, because the traditional mission organization for years has primarily sent workers around the world to do evangelism and church planting and, you know, those kind of things. Whereas in the last several years, you know, the NGO and the compassion people, they're starting to send more and more people out to do the relief and development side. Yeah. And what's interesting is I've watched for years how the missions folk and the relief and development people haven't always gotten along. Mm-hmm. But when they get to a particular country, they realize that in order to be effective, they need each other. Mm-hmm. So and by the way, the reason they've not always gotten along is the ministry people sort of look at the compassion folks and say, you know, you only care about, you know, the needs of people. You don't really care about souls. Mm-hmm. And the compassion people look at the ministry people and say, all you care about is souls. And what I absolutely love about international teams, and it's probably one of the top 3 biggest reasons that I came here 2.5 years ago, is that I feel like we are a merge, we are a blend, a perfect blend of the mission organization that does ministry, but also the compassion side. And so as you look at the things that we're doing around the world, you see a holistic ministry that I think many other organizations would love to have, and it's who we are. And it's one of the things that it is unique about us, and I think it's just one of the things that excites me the most. And maybe I'll give you one more. One more. Okay. And that is that we're committed to partnering. You know, we're talking about what makes international teams unique, and I've mentioned a few things. Now, I just said partnering.
Yeah.
We're committed to partnering. Partnership is a big buzzword around the world, you know, and people are trying to figure out, you know, what does partnership look like? And I think a lot of people talk about it really well, but what a lot of organizations want is your money and your prayers. And I think one of the things that we've positioned ourselves to be good at is we actually know that people like those listening today, we know that you want to be directly involved in ministry among the oppressed around the world. And so instead of just saying, hey, send us your check and pray for us, we're actually creating partnership opportunities that allow you to have a hands-on impact on the people that are on the field. And so that's a huge thing. So we've intentionally designed our strategy, we've designed our structure to enable people like you to partner with us at very, very deep levels around the world. So to go in and get your hands dirty, I guess.
Yeah.
So those are some unique things that I think excite me about international.